Hello and welcome or welcome back. This practice is all about the hips and the hamstrings. So we'll need a few props for this one. If you have two blocks, grab two blocks and then a strap and maybe a blanket. So you might need a blanket for a pose towards the end of the class. So we're actually going to start in a position lying on our back in a constructive rest pose. So start to come onto your back and plant your feet wider than your hips distance and let your knees come together. Relax the back of your body into your mat. Sometimes it's nice to pick up your hips and lengthen out your spine in this position to really be able to lengthen out the neck, lengthen out the spine, and coming to a very comfortable position where you can relax the shoulders and really feel the entire back of the body relaxing into your support. So just taking a moment first to notice that you don't need to hold yourself up. So sometimes we tend to hold on to certain areas of our body and try to support ourselves up, but here we can really just allow ourselves to relax. And start to soften the muscles around the face, the jaw. Soften through the sides of the neck, down into the belly. And release any tension through the hips. And maybe you close down your eyes here and just start to really tune into your body. And take a moment to notice how your hips are feeling. Maybe notice how your hamstrings are feeling. And there's no right or wrong answer here, but we're just checking in. And if you haven't done so yet, go ahead and seal the lips. So we're taking an inhale through the nose and an exhale through the nose. And just starting to lengthen out your exhales, making them longer than your inhales. And as you continue to do that, go ahead and separate your knees. We're just going to windshield wiper the knees side to side. So nothing specific here. Still tuning into your body, deepening your breath, and just moving the knees side to side. And as you're taking some more deep breaths, releasing any tension on the exhale. Keep drawing your attention inward. The next time your knees come back up towards the center, pause there, and then go ahead and grab onto your strap. We're going to start to bring the bottom of our foot underneath that strap. So start with your right foot and start to extend that right leg towards the sky. Keep your shoulders relaxed. And that left knee can stay bent, or you can straighten out that left leg. But start to actively reach through that right leg, pressing the foot into that strap. I have a little bend in my right knee, so try not to lock your knee there. Take some deep breaths. And we'll hold here for about 15 more seconds. Keep pushing that foot into the right strap, or that right foot into the strap. And then slowly start to rebend that right knee, just enough to where you can bring the left foot into that strap. So left leg starts to extend, but keeping a micro bend in that left knee. Right knee can stay bent, or you can start to straighten out your right leg. And just noticing how this side feels different. So for me, this side feels a little bit more tighter actually through my left hamstring. So check in with what you're feeling. You might even be feeling something in the right hip bone, especially if your right leg is straight. And then taking a few deep breaths here, let yourself settle. And then keep actively reaching through that left foot as you take a few more deep breaths. And slowly rebending that left knee. Remove the strap, and then we're gonna hug the left knee in towards the right knee in towards the chest. Extend the left leg towards the sky. So keep that right knee hugged in towards the chest, left leg towards the sky. Take an inhale here. And slowly exhale, bring that left leg down towards your mat, but we're not going to release the foot. We're just going to start to hover that left foot, start to pulse the left leg. So this is a great psoas strengthening position here. So just this little bit of movement, that little bit of pulsing through that left leg, we're strengthening and lengthening the psoas muscle. So oftentimes when we're sitting all day, that psoas muscle is shortening, which can cause some pain in our hips and low back. Keep pulsing a few more times through that left leg. And then nice and easy, bring that left knee back in, hug both knees in towards the chest, maybe a little sway side to side. And then keep the left knee hugged in towards the chest, extend the right leg towards the sky. And then again, take a big inhale here. And then exhale, slowly lower that right leg down until you can start to pulse through that right leg, just hovering the foot. Pulsing through that right leg. Notice how it feels on this side. And try to keep a slow, steady breath. And we'll keep this a few more times here. Keep pulsing through that right leg. And then nice and slowly sweeping that right knee, both knees hugged in towards the chest, maybe a little sway side to side. And then we're going to come to a tabletop position, so you can rock and roll up to a tabletop position or roll onto your side. And then have your blocks at the top of your mat there. You can use your blanket to pad your knees if the knees are a little tender. Just coming onto hands and knees. And start to step the right foot forward, big step forward to a lizard lunge. I'm going to come up onto my blocks here. I'm going to place my blocks on the medium setting. My arms are pretty short, so I like to have that little bit of extra height here so I can really ease into this lizard lunge. So right foot steps forward, left leg really lengthens here. So lengthen out that left leg. Maybe you even just want to have a blanket underneath the left knee perhaps. And we're going to stay here just for a few breaths. See if you can release some tension around the hips and let gravity do its job. So really allow the pelvis to sink. And then we're going to start to make this a little bit of a flow. So on an inhale here, staying in your lizard lunge. And then an exhale, you can tuck the back toes, start to straighten out through that right leg, finding a half split. Maybe folding over that right leg. So it's an inhale to come back to your lizard lunge. And an exhale, finding a half split. So just moving nice and slow with your own breath. creating this nice little flow that works in your body here. Feeling into the movement, notice what you're feeling. Sensation wise, maybe the hips are feeling a little bit sticky. Just noticing what you're feeling right underneath the skin. Creating some lubrication and circulation through the hips. Keep going a few more times there. Next time you take an exhale, finding your half split, pause there for a few breaths. So just folding over to that right leg to any amount. You might even be on a diagonal if your hands are on the blocks. And then an inhale just to come back forward a little bit, sweep in that right knee. Let's take a few cat and cows here, so hands can stay on blocks if you would like. We'll take an inhale, lower the belly, lift the chin and the gaze. And an exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. So it's an inhale, lower the belly, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, cat pose. So keep doing this a few more times, moving with your own breath. Next time you take an inhale, come back to a neutral tabletop. We're going to step the left foot forward to the top of our mat, out to the side there for that lizard lunge. And then just coming back onto the blocks if you're using those blocks. And I'm noticing on this side, I actually need to put the blocks on the highest height. So know that both sides, left and right, can feel different. So maybe this left side feels different to you. That's totally fine. And start to just coming to that lizard lunge where you can let the pelvis sink. Come back to your breath. Take a few deep breaths there to let yourself settle. Notice what you're feeling, maybe through the left hip, and through the glutes, maybe even through the left hamstring. And then we'll add on here, working through some half splits. So we'll take an inhale in our in our lizard lunge. And an exhale, straightening out that left leg, finding your half split. Inhale, come back to your lizard lunge. Exhale, finding your half split, nice and slow. Really lengthen out your exhale. Inhale, come back to your lizard lunge. And just continue this moving with your own breath. But really try to make this more about a moving meditation rather than a more active, vigorous, rigid type of movement, focusing more on the breath. Focusing on the breath, the sensations, lengthening out your exhales. And so go ahead and move in this flow a few more times. And the next time you take an exhale, straightening out that left leg, folding over that left leg a little bit, pausing here. Take a few deep breaths. And then the next time you inhale, just coming back up to that tabletop position. Take a few cat and cows. Inhale, lower your belly, lift the chin. Exhale, round your spine, chin to chest. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, cat pose, rounding the spine. And then let's go ahead and remove the blocks You can place them to the top of your mat there. Come to tabletop with wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, tuck your toes. Exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Now, feel free to pedal out the feet here, make a little bit of movement, and really think about putting a generous bend in the knees just to get a feel for how your hamstrings are feeling first. So try not to go straight into a downward dog with straight legs or heels down towards your mat. Get a nice gentle feel for how you're feeling in a downward dog first. And there's no rush. We'll be here for a few breaths, so feel free to pedal out through your feet. Really think about rooting down through the palms of your hands so you can draw the tailbone up towards the sky, lengthen out the spine. And take a breath in, and maybe an open mouth exhale. Sigh it out. And then we're going to come up onto the toes, bend the knees, inhale, step forward, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, reach up, all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms out to a T. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, soften your knees, forward fold. Plant the hand, step just the left foot back, lower that left knee. Take an inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, low lunge. Exhale, release hands to the mat. Lift the back knee, step the left foot forward to meet the right on an inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, soften your knees and forward fold. Plant the hands, step just the right foot back, lower that right knee. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. Exhale, release the hands to the mat. Pick the back knee up. Inhale, step the right foot forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, extended mountain. And exhale, soften your knees, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart center. Let's take a moment to widen our stance. So I'm actually going to face you here. We're going to come to a squat. So if you know that you like to practice a squat using a block, feel free to grab that, place it down on your mat there. So that way you'll have that support. So feet wider than the hips, heels pointed in, toes pointed out. And then I like to start with just giving a nice inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring hands to heart center as you start to release the hips all the way down. Now find that support for your block if you would like that. And now think about bringing hands to heart center here so you can have your knees towards the inside of your knees there, or have your elbows on the inside of your knees. And just start to release your hips down towards your mat. Extend the spine up towards the sky. Feel free to close your eyes here or soften your gaze. Taking a few deep breaths and just noticing. Maybe even take an open mouth exhale as you just sigh it out. And think about releasing any tension. So, maybe think about scanning your body from the crown of the head down to your toes. And think about releasing that tension on your exhales. Take a few more deep breaths here. Slowly bring your hands down towards your mat. Start to straighten your legs and come to a ragdoll position. So I'll meet you back at the front of my mat here, but keeping your feet wide, letting the upper body just drape over. Hands can come to opposite elbows, and maybe you find a little sway side to side. Think about releasing tension through the back of the neck. Finding this lovely ragdoll pose so we can just let the upper body relax here. Placing a generous bend in the knees. Feel free to keep swaying or find stillness. And release any tension through the jaw. Slowly release your clasp from your elbows and start to just heel to the feet in a little bit closer. Step back into a tabletop. And then we're going to make our way all the way down to our mat on our back. So if you have that blanket, go ahead and bring your blanket off to the right side and we'll come back to that. All right. So from here, we're going to make our way onto our back. And take a moment to hug the knees in towards your chest. Few deep breaths here. And then release both feet down. We're going to cross the right ankle over the top of the left thigh. And finding a supine figure 4 here. So maybe this is exactly where you stay. You're feeling enough sensation through the hips. Maybe you pick up the left foot, interlace the fingers behind the left hamstring. So that will add on a little bit more of a stretch there. But see what feels good. And if something is just a little bit too much and you're trying to find that sweet spot, just start to lower your left foot back down towards the mat there. So it's best to just start off a little bit gentler rather than going to your full range of motion. And then take a few breaths and settling into this shape. And start to lower the left foot. And bring the right foot down towards the mat. Hug both knees in towards the chest again. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, let your both knees fall to the right side. And maybe your knees meet that blanket that you have, a little bit of extra support there. Any arm variation, so arms can be up overhead or maybe out to a T, but I'm personally going to keep my hands to my belly. Think about relaxing the shoulder blades, relaxing through the chest, and feel that left shoulder. Maybe noticing if the shoulder blade is meeting the mat. If it's not, that's okay, but keep relaxing through that left shoulder. And deep belly breaths here, massaging our internal organs. Coming back to your breath. It can be nice to close down your eyes and really just tune into your body. Tune into the sensations. A few more deep breaths here. And on your next inhale, lifting the left knee, bring your right knee with you, hugging both knees in, maybe a little sway side to side. And then setting both feet down towards your mat, we're going to cross the left ankle over top of right thigh. And just opening out that left knee, get a feel for how this feels in your body. And notice if you want to stay right here, or you can pick up the right foot, interlace the fingers behind the right hamstring, and feel more of a stretch through that left outer hip, perhaps. And sometimes the challenge can just be coming right back to your breath. So each time we transition, try to come right back to your breath. Keep that right foot just heavy and loose there. So try, even though you might be holding up that right leg a little bit, but try to keep the body as relaxed as you can. So keep the back of the head relaxed. Try not to pick up the head or strain the neck. Few deep breaths here. And then nice and slowly, we're going to lower that right foot, plant the left foot, and then place your blanket on the left side. We're going to come to that twist. So start to bring both knees towards your chest on an inhale, and then exhale, let both knees fall to the left side, finding your supine twist. Let your knees and your legs fall on top of that blanket there. And then any arm variation that you would like. So if you have the arms up overhead, maybe you keep that. But I'm going to keep having my hands on my belly here. And maybe you even turn your head looking towards the right, adding on a little bit of a neck stretch, or you can turn the head towards the left, or just keep your head at neutral. Start to feel that nice stretch through the outside of that right hip. Notice that right shoulder blade if it's making contact with the mat. Just keeping that right shoulder and arm as heavy as it can be. Deep inhale through the nose. Long, slow exhale through the nose. And as you start to relax here and shift into a deeper state of relaxation, you might even be hearing noises from your belly. And that's a good sign that your body is slowly relaxing and shifting into that parasympathetic nervous state where it's that rest or digest state, and we can really let the nervous system replenish, and just this soothing aspect of this practice as we start to slow things down. So take a few more deep breaths here. And then on your next inhale, lifting your right knee, bring your left knee with you, hug both knees in towards the chest. And before we start to settle into a Shavasana, maybe you want to come to a happy baby where you're reaching for your big toes or your ankles. So sometimes that can feel good before settling into a Shavasana. If you're ready to move into a Shavasana and you have that blanket, feel free to roll that blanket up and maybe just place it underneath your feet or underneath your ankles there, or underneath your knees. So it doesn't have to be, a big roll. It can just be a little bit of a support there. And let's make our way to a nice Shavasana. So feel free to grab any extra blankets that you would like, any extra props. And you can let your arms come out by your side. So really think about taking up space. Now, if this doesn't feel good, having your arms and legs spread out like a starfish, maybe you want to have your hands just resting on your belly. But do come to a position that you can really let the entire body relax. So you're not holding on to tension or holding on to your body and trying to support yourself. You can let your full body weight just relax here. Maybe perhaps you scan your body from the crown of the head down to the toes. See if you might be holding on to tension. Taking a few deep breaths, let your body and your mind start to settle. Finding that stillness and just starting to reflect on the practice. Notice when your mind wants to wander away, or if your mind is wandering to thoughts that are not serving to you, come back to your breath. Perhaps you mentally say inhale, mentally say exhale. And so Shavasana gives us this opportunity to practice the stillness in the silence, to notice, reflect, feel the ebb and flow of energy circulating throughout your body, and giving gratitude towards your body. and thanking yourself for showing up on your mat and staying here for your Shavasana and just noticing. And so feel free to stay here for as long as you would like in your Shavasana. And I hope you have a very peaceful day. And until next time, namaste.